Hey guys, and welcome. Hope you're all doing well. Decided to do another live stream today, but really quickly before we begin, if you're not in Crypto Campus yet, make sure to go to cryptocampus.io and just click join server because I will be taking all the chart requests from the actual Discord. So since we got that out of the way, I really want to start off with Bitcoin. We all know that Bitcoin has been doing really, really well lately, and I'm actually pretty excited. We had this very long bear market, and things are starting to look better again. So, all in all, I really hope that we can continue this so that we can finally start making those big gains again. Um, so yeah, without further ado, gonna start off with Bitcoin. The major thing that's going on with Bitcoin right now is that it's, made a reversal and we actually broke the trend line. We've got a level of resistance, which sort of looks more like this. It's a horizontal resistance level, and we didn't really manage to break that yet. We're still hovering below it. But if you take the actual trend line, and that's the difference between trend lines and resistance, you can see that we have broken or made a good attempt at breaking the downtrend, and I really hope that we can close this week above this trend line so that we can continue this. In short, it's really simple as far as I'm concerned right now. I believe we're gonna have to retest, and just let me draw this, just to make it easy. There we go. This resistance that I've marked out, I will put the resistance in red just to make it more visible. And in order to do so, I think we're going to have to make a quick retest of the broken trend line. So in short, if we zoom in a little bit, that would make for the following move. There we go. So first a down move to retest this trend line, and then a continuation of the bull trend to make what is hopefully the first attempt of this very large resistance that we've got going on here. We all know that this resistance has been set in, and it took, let's see, 287 days for it to finally give way, which means that with this resistance right here is pretty strong, and we're not gonna break this in one attempt. In fact, I would be really, really surprised if that manages to occur. So if I have to visualize this, and I would assume that it's gonna look something like this. Couple of attempts, some sideways, and we can see that this happened before. Let me just grab the log scale, make it more visible, and go to Bitstamp because we've got more market data to work with. We can see that this pretty much happened before. We can see, and let me draw this correctly. Should be something like this, I assume. After we broke support, it took a while. The market just went sideways for almost a year after it finally broke out. And this right here, this accumulation time for Bitcoin actually happens to be very, very beneficial for alts. So all in all, I hope that we can see the alts starting to move, for some bigger moves soon, and that we can make advantage of those. And I'm now going to go to the Discord. Just give me a second. Gotta open it in order to do the requests because I mostly want to do requests today. First request of this day is going to be KMD. And if you have a request, once again, you can still just pop it in the general channel on the Discord and I will try to take a look on it. Let's go to Bittrex for this. There we go. So KMD, I'm a pretty big fan of KMD. I like the actual project. The issue right here is that, in my opinion, it doesn't look too strong. What we have here is the actual Fibonacci level, and I have to put this down correctly. And what worries me here is that, pretty much after it made this period of accumulation, And in order to demonstrate this, I'm going to grab the unbalanced volume, which shows inflowing and outflowing cash flows. There we go. After this period of accumulation, we can clearly see that people were buying here. Obviously, coins were being taken off the market. And it made an attempt at the first fib level, which is located at about 32,000 satoshis. Excuse me, guys. And it pretty much failed. KMD didn't manage to break through and is now back into the bear trend. And obviously, this is not really something to be worried about because we still have this trend line that is intact. I always say you need 3 attempts in order to make a valid trend line, and it remains to be seen as to whether this is an actual valid trend line. Is this going to be something that can hold, or is it just going to burst through? And if it bursts through, I wouldn't recommend being in KMD right now. So that's pretty much my vision here. Really, I don't think it's worth taking a look at until this first Fibonacci level gets taken out. If that happens, however, we can start looking at higher levels, which include the 618 sitting at 60,000 satoshis. And obviously, let me just fix this because I don't know what happened here, but I'm sorry about this. There, the 4-1 should also be removed. There, looks a bit better, doesn't it? So that's what I'm gonna wait for. I won't be, buying any KMD as far as that goes until that happens. Now something I'm actually pretty excited about, which is EOS. I like to chart EOS against USD. And what we can see happening here is the following. Let's just open up the unbalanced volume. Don't think we need the RSI for this. There we go. So it's very simple. I'm actually in an EOS position. I shared it probably about a month ago, maybe 2 months. And I still haven't sold, and I'm not planning to sell until we reach the actual first fib level, which is approximately 6.5 US dollars. I don't see any reason for EOS to break down here because we just made this attempt at this resistance right here. Let me just draw that out in red. This was the actual resistance level that we managed to break. And I believe that if EOS was going to go and move further down, it would have done so before breaking this resistance level. Which means we, are obliged to look at higher targets. First of all, as I just noted, the first target will be 6.5 US dollars. I think, if this is going to give way, I don't think it's going to do that in pretty much one attempt. I believe it's going to take a little bit longer, because we, in all regards, are still in a bear market and we still haven't seen this huge accumulation. If I had to make a guess here, and this isn't a total assumption, this would make for a very nice head and shoulders pattern. So, that would mean that it would pretty much be this. Let me grab the green. Excuse me. It would look sort of like this. Green being the price action, we would have a left shoulder ahead and a right shoulder, and this would make for an inverted head and shoulders. And if we can see this happening, if this manages to occur, I believe that it might be valid to look at the actual 618 for the next target for EOS. And this would mean a price range of 13 US dollars, which would be very nice to see, considering that I am a huge fan of EOS and I own a buttload, so that wouldn't be bad at all. It remains to be seen as to whether, this is actually going to happen or not. For now, it's just an assumption. I also believe that if you don't have any EOS right now, there's no reason to get into, considering this would only be a 14% move. If you're trading on leverage, it could be nice. It could be a nice go. However, I would put the risk all the way down at $4.50, which would mean that you would probably lose 20% if it turns out badly. And if you're on margin, you're probably going to blow your position. And that is not something we want to do. That is not something that makes anybody happy and should be avoided at all costs. Let me see. I can see a comment. Audio went out. Should be working. Okay, next request. RDD. Um, in all honesty, I've been looking at RDD, and this would make for a pretty safe position to build, because if we consider this the actual resistance, normally I would put it up a little bit higher, but just to be safe, 28 satoshis would make for a very good risk tolerance. Now if we take our long tool and we enter at 33 satoshis, our risk tolerance is 28, and we draw our fibs over this move right here. Like, we can set our target at 68, and this would mean, I can't even read it. It's really annoying. Hold on. A risk reward ratio of 7, which is very, very good. You don't often get a position with a risk reward ratio of 7, which means that you can make $7 for every buck that you stand to lose if things go south. However, if this support gives way, yeah, it remains to be seen if in that case you want to hold or sell. Personally, I would sell if I was in Redcoin, which I'm not right now, because any lower than this, it's probably gonna be a free fall, and free falls are bad. You don't want to be in a free fall, especially with the crypto markets, tiny caps. So yeah, pretty simple position, and that's really everything I have to say about it. I can go more extensive, but I don't really see the need for that. There is one more trend line that might be interesting to show. Can be seen from a mile away. Um, and personally, I would get into this once this trend line gives way. If this happens, this would be a very, very good position to be in. And onwards we go. Library credits. Pretty big fan of library credits. I think the product is amazing, and this is actually one of those projects that actually has users, because believe it or not, very few crypto projects have users. Seem to be very rare. Um, so, as far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna do this on a weekly. This is a pretty good position to be in as well. Let me just explain. Gonna remove this, we don't need it, and I'm gonna zoom in. If we take a look here at library credits and we use the log scale, actually let's not use the log scale, doesn't really matter. We can see that currently we are creating a possible head and shoulders pattern here. Inverted head and shoulders pattern. It's not the nicest of patterns that I've seen, but it's very, very possible that that's what's happening right now. And if we break the actual neckline, this is annoying. There we go. Then we can take our long tool, put our target at the first fib, which is the 236, put our stop just below the right shoulder, and this would give us an actual risk reward ratio of 5.71, which is very, very decent. So personally, I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait and see if we actually manage to break this neckline, which is very abstract. You know, there's not a absolute clear neckline here that we can see. Might be what I've just drawn out here, but definitely keep an eye on this. I know I'm going to keep an eye on this because this might get very interesting. So very good suggestion from Longshot. I can see a couple more requests. Once again, just put them in a Discord general channel. For the ones that just joined, if you have a request, I'm doing a request today. Just go to cryptocampus.io and click join server. You will then join our Discord where we have a buttload of charts and pictures of cats as well. Don't forget the pictures of cats. Everybody likes cats. And then you can just drop your comments in general and I will do your request. Sia coin. Always interesting. I have actually drawn this out recently and it's the same story. You know, this is a very good risk reward ratio of 6 with a stop loss just below the bottom that we've set in here. And then if you put your target at the first fib right there, this would make for a very good position. The only difference here is that I am not entirely sure about this one because if we look at the unbalanced volume, you know, it's basically trending down, and we have no sign of recovery or any sign of major buys. You know, coins being taken off the market. So if we look at the unbalanced volume, we can see that there's no real new money flowing into this market. Which makes this a less desirable position. It could be good. It could be good, but for me, there's no indication that this will, you know, start to moon soon or anything like that. Um, and that's pretty much it for Sia coin. I'm gonna do one more request, and then I will also chart Litecoin and a couple others because these are on the verge of possibly a major move. Not sure, but could happen. Tron, TRX paired against Bitcoin. Let's go on Binance. And let's go to the 1-day charts. There we go. For me, Tron is kind of a mystery. You know, this is a very unusual pattern. However, I believe this is something that we can play with, and we can do it as follows. If we take the trend line, you know, not necessarily the actual trend line, let's see what the weekly says. Kind of fits, not really, but kind of does. And we take support right here. We can see that there could potentially be a major wedge forming for Tron. I'm not going to touch this at all until this wedge resolves, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's kind of going to look like this. Mainly because Tron has always been one of those instruments that are just way overhyped. Everybody knows about it, everybody likes it, except me. So, you know, this could definitely be something interesting. If we manage to break out of this wedge, I would like to take this whole entire move in order for us to put down a target. And if we then take our long tool and our ray, my target would be all the way up there if this resolves. And I would personally enter after we break the 618 again, you know, because from now on the 618 is going to be above this resistance. And, you know, just as a demonstration, let's just say we are going to break out. Let me just redo that. I'm sorry. And we do a retest, that would be a good time to get in, and then just wait for it to reach target. But it could look like this. It could also look more like this. And I just like to visualize things, so nobody knows. Um, of course, without a doubt, there's also the possibility of Tron doing this. Um, but I think that possibility is rather small due to the fact that this is a very popular instrument, and I believe that if another bull market is going to happen, this is going to be one of those instruments that actually, join the bull run. That would make for a risk reward ratio, depending on when it breaks out. I'm just going to do a guess here of about 14, and that is golden. So even I will be taking a trade, even though I don't like Tron. So that's pretty much it. Pretty clear story as far as I'm concerned. On to the really interesting stuff. Litecoin. Litecoin actually started its moon mission already, and I'd like to go to the weekly because there's a lot of history here. But basically, you know, I'm just waiting for one thing. I'm waiting for one thing. If we take our fib tool and we take the entire move right here, I am very interested in seeing the 786 giveaway because this has pretty much been the major resistance that has always been in play. And if we take a look at the unbalanced volume, we can see that this has been going crazy. And to me, this indicates that a larger move could be upcoming. So if we break out, from the 786 and we close a daily chart or a daily candle there, I will be entering the actual position. And it's, no matter when it happens, if it happens, it's going to be at the 786. And this would give us a trade with an R&R of 4.25. And don't forget, Litecoin is one of the most popular coins. It has been pushed out of the top of the crypto market cap coins. And, this is just very interesting, especially due to the fact that I believe like the most institutions that are going to trade crypto are just going to be looking at the top 10, and Litecoin is one of them. It's tradable on Bitfinex with actual dollars, and that's why I'm very, very excited about this. Now, a little update on the entire market cap, TRX BTC. Let me just fix this because this usually takes a while. Ethereum. There we go. Am I forgetting something? I believe I am. Of course, Ripple, MBMB. There we go. XRP. There we go. Okay, so if we look at the entire crypto market cap, let's switch to the daily. This is the what I call the big cap index. This is just like all these top 10 coins combined. Most of them anyway. We can see that the unbalanced volume is starting to turn slowly. And what I'm looking for personally is for the unbalanced volume to break previous high we've set at the beginning of this year. And there's no telling as to whether this will happen. But if it does, then it's going to be pretty simple as far as I'm concerned. This would coincide with a breakout of the actual 236 Fibonacci level. And by then we can start looking at a proper alt rally. First target being the actual 382 but I wouldn't be surprised if we manage to go to the 618 either. So I'm gonna keep you guys updated on that as well. Very interesting to see what happens over the course of the next couple days. You know, there are some signs that say we could be reversing, especially if we look at support. This would be support, and it's gonna be tight. You know, are we gonna break the Fibonacci level that we've set here, the 236, or are we gonna go and ruin the support trend line and just pretty much, I believe that if this happens, we're just gonna do this. Gonna go down and maybe not recover. Hey Magic, welcome, welcome. It's been a while. Good to see you. Oh, okay, I can see some spam. Just gotta remove that. Thank you, Wendy Ann, for spamming my channel. Um, so yeah, you know, all in all, some very, very exciting times, especially for Bitcoin. As I've pointed out, just as a reminder for the people that just joined, we have the following trend line. We broke this trend line. Let me fix this. There we go. And we are now probably gonna head for support, which is sitting at, let's just put it at 6,000. 6,000 is very reasonable, nicely rounded. And that's what we're gonna head towards, as far as I'm concerned anyway. So slight bounce over the course of the next few days is what I expect. You know, just some downside, not too much. We have to avoid at all costs doing this. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Let me remove this. As far as I'm concerned, if Bitcoin just retraces, the first warning sign would be moving into the following area, you know, because we pretty much blasted through that. There's not a whole lot of liquidity in this area, as you can see. You know, every time we went over there, prices moved really fast. And if this happens and we approach this trend line, then I'm gonna be worried. You know, if we go any lower than 4,000, it's not gonna be nice. I don't expect that to happen, but it's something to maybe be very weary of. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. It has been fun. Um, I'm gonna be around in the Discord channel all night. So if you have any questions, if you want to talk charts or talk pictures of cats, make sure to join. And I will see you guys in 2 days. Happy trading.